What's up, guys? Zach here, bringing you a guide from my Iron Man on the fight kiln. They just updated this recently so that you can do a fast spawn instead of a slow spawn. So I'm going to try and do my mage cape right now. Shouldn't be too difficult. I got my chaotic staff, my royal crossbow, my dual Gracies. So the first stage is all melee. I'll kind of show you what I do in here. It's pretty easy. If you can get a fire cape, you can easily get your kiln capes finished. It's not really difficult at all. I'm going to turn my runic accuracy on. The first thing that you're going to want to pray in here is range, because these are all going to be range guys. It focuses on melee at the start, so you'll be using most of your melee abilities. Good to keep your anticipation up, just to keep your damage to a minimal amount that you're taking here. It's good to use the weakness to whatever you're fighting. So like I brought all three combat styles with me on this trip. You don't necessarily have to if you have tier 90s. It's pretty easy to kill this stuff. You don't have to worry a whole lot about the damage that they're doing, especially if you have soul split and stuff. It doesn't matter at all. It's not hard to do this on your Iron Man. I did it with melee with a dragon longsword, offhand, and a whip main hand. So really not that difficult. Why is this not? There we go. Really not that difficult to get through Kiln at all. There's a few waves that you want to kind of pay attention for, but besides that, pretty easy. So invulnerability crystal, I always pick these up. You're going to use those from wave 33 to 36 for killing the Jads. You don't necessarily have to use them, but I like to use them just because it makes it easier. You have to worry less about changing prayers and stuff. You'll see later on when I do it that I don't really mess up on the prayers anyhow, but just nice to have that reassurance that even if you accidentally mess up on the prayer, you're not going to instantly be killed and have wasted all the time that you just spent up till now in the kiln. That guy's done. Flipping back and forth. I think wave 9 is the first wave that you have dills that show up. Dills are kind of a pain because you can't kill them with straight abilities. You have to actually destroy their armor with your melee abilities, and then after you destroy your armor, you can switch to your magic gear or whatever you want to use to actually kill them. So I'll show you those when they spawn. We're on wave 3 right now, so we're going through it pretty quick. Usually it's about half hour on my Iron Man, for half hour to 35 minutes for an entire run. We'll see how fast I get done with this one. I'm not wearing, last time I did it, when I did 35-minute run, I was wearing my Superior Elite Void for range. But since I'm going for my Mage Cape this time, obviously I can't use my Superior Elite. I have to just use my normal War Priest and my Dragon Rider. But I finally got a body. I have a cape as well, but the cape isn't really worth it compared to the Slayer Cape trim that I can use, or my Kiln Capes. So I don't really use it that much, but I have it nonetheless. For someday if I ever want to be a cool kid with all my Dragon Rider. Restoration Crystal is also a good one. I pick up the Restoration and the Invulnerability. The rest of them I would say not as important to have, but here's the range guy. Just attack them. You can see their weakness in the top right is just its range. Doesn't really matter where you stand. This is really easy, especially with Brews and Restores. This should be very simple for you to clear through all this pretty quick. So this used to be hard back in EOC, or not hard, but more difficult than it is now. This is pretty just run around and attack stuff is pretty much how you go, especially if you have tier 90s. You don't even need to bring a combat style change. Okay, so here's the first dill. Wave 5 is your first dill. So basically what I do is I use a quick threshold ability on them to try and break the armor as fast as possible. You can't use prayer when you're fighting them, or they'll use a special attack that hurts for lots of damage. It's like 2500 or something like that it hits for, but as soon as you can kill it, then you want to go back to praying whatever you need for the room that you're in. Like right now I have 4 range guys actually spawned in here right now, so I'm going to do a little bit of healing with my brews, because I'm a noob Iron Man without soul split. I should be able to get soul split hopefully in the next week or so, and then I'm going to try and camp these. Dave and I are having a contest to see who can get the Huracan pet first on his main versus my Iron Man, so it'll be a fun contest for once I get tier 95 prayers to see if I can beat him to doing that. I'll probably be streaming that, I would say, tomorrow night. We'll do like 8 or 9 of these kills on these. So with range and mage and melee, it's the same concept with all of them, only a different style of attack. You're using different abilities basically for it, so not really an issue as far as seeing that I'm using melee right now compared to all the rest. The second stage that you go into, I believe, is going to be your range phase, where you range everything. Everything's weak to range, so I'll show you that in just a little bit here. Wave 10 is when the first Jad's gonna spawn. So Jads always spawn on the south side of the room, so you always want to try and be on the north side. The only exception to that rule is when you have, I think it's wave 36, and there's 2 Jads that spawn. You'll get a Jad that spawns in the north side of the room. So just one thing to kind of be aware of. It's not necessarily a huge issue, because by that point you'll have 3 of these invulnerability crystals saved up. So that's why at the start of each round I was saying I just use it just to be safe, just in case if something happens you're still covered. So but these waves definitely do spawn a lot faster than what they used to spawn in here. It used to be a lot slower. It'd be like 50-minute kiln times for me for getting through this entire thing. So I haven't ever timed it with War Priest and actually using all 3 sets. The only thing I had to go off of was my Superior Elite Void with my Royal Crossbow. So I'll be interested to see how fast this actually goes on my Iron Man. No idea what to expect for time. Hopefully it's around 30 minutes though. That would make this about 2 mil an hour on an Iron Man account for cash wise, which is pretty good money. I mean, it's about the same as what you're going to get from Gargoyle Alks, so. What the Restoration Crystal does, if you guys don't really know about what it does, it makes it so basically your max HP goes up to 15,000, and it constantly heals you. It gives you a very rapid regeneration rate for your HP as well. So it's pretty much all around a really good item for rounds that you know you're going to take a lot of damage. Most of those rounds are going to be the dill rounds that you have like more than 1 dill that spawns. So if you see multiple dills, it's not a bad idea to use your Restoration Crystal, just because that's going to be the rounds that you end up taking the most damage. They just hit you for a lot, especially if you're fighting multiple dills. So there's, I think it's on wave 26 or 27. We'll see as we kind of go through this guide, but there's a wave that you basically have to fight through. It's like 8 dills in one wave. So now I'm on the Jad phase right now. I'm going for the mage cape this time, so I'm going to make it so, there we go, he's range. Oh, that was close. Almost died. Now switch to magic when he goes on his hind legs. That's a magic attack. There's range again. Barely got my range prayer switched out. So, and then these guys are melee guys here. Domination. That's it for the first wave. Now I'm on to, I believe this is where range starts. Range goes pretty quick. Our Medj wish to test you. So that is the magic. It is range this now. So you'll switch to your magic prayer now, or soul split if you have soul split. I'm just a noob, obviously, still, so I don't have that kind of luxury on Iron Man. Working on it, but not yet. But this just goes to show you guys, I mean, it's really not that hard to do Kiln. Fire Cape is going to be much more difficult to accomplish than it's going to be to finish Kiln, for sure. Maybe once upon a time, Kiln was harder, but not anymore. And it's mostly because Fire Cape just takes a good chunk of time to... Oh, Restoration. I got those crystals mixed up earlier when I was explaining to you guys. Constitution is the one that increases your Constitution to 15,000. The restoration crystal just replaces, so like if, let's say you have 1 HP and 1 prayer, it'll give them both back to full. So that's what the restoration crystal does. Misspoke on that before. And these are really the only 4 crystals I use: range magic and the restoration and the constitution crystal. The rest of them are pretty irrelevant, I would say. Obviously the strength one is going to be if you're using melee in here, but I don't really ever use melee, to be honest. Range and mage are the master race of RuneScape nowadays. I don't know why for a long time people didn't use brews and restores anymore. They're nice because they don't interrupt combat and make your adrenaline drop, so I would definitely recommend on maybe investing in brews as the future comes for RuneScape. I feel like they will become more popular. It's just people didn't realize how good brews actually are still. I don't have very much prayer left actually. Should have brought more. Maybe not. This will be the wave that all the magic guys spawn, so you'll pretty much only use range on the wave. Always the wave before your Jad wave. This one actually has a dill in here as well, in that corner. So when you see a dill spawn, you want to try and spread as much distance as you can away from the dill. Because if it starts attacking you and you're praying like a mage prayer right now, like I was saying earlier, you're going to take more damage, and that's just, you don't want that to happen when you're fighting these guys. So the more damage you can save yourself from tanking, the better off you're going to be in the long run for being able to do this with less and less gear, so, or less and less overpowered stuff, like overloads and soul split and all the rest of that. I do it pretty easily with my Iron Man, as you can see. I mean, I don't really have a challenge. We're at 16 minutes in and wave 19, so about halfway. I might even be faster than my last time. The last time I did this, I used the Mage Crystal, or the Range Crystal on Hurakan at the very last part of this, and for some reason, I don't know if Jagex knows if this exists, but if you use a Mage Crystal before you fight Hurakan, it actually makes it so you hit the boss less than you would if you hadn't used it. So definitely don't use your crystals to do more damage on the Hurakan guy at the end. You just want to just straight out DPS him with whatever you have. You can use like a Restoration Crystal or a Constitution Crystal, but the rest of them you don't want to use for that. So another Range Crystal, I'm not going to pick that up. You're a worthy fool. Yes, I am. I've already got 4 of these capes. Back on the winner side, because that's just the side that I like to spawn on. The first one of this is just an AoE fest, so really you want to just try and DPS as much as you can, really, right now. They don't really hit for much damage, so this isn't really a phase to be worried about, but you just gotta keep attacking them, basically, until all these little guys are gone. We'll see, I believe it's the 27th phase that you get all the dills. But I'm kind of interested to see now what happens with when you get, it's 8 dills or something like that spawn. It's like the only other tough part between here and wave 30. And it's not even tough if you just use a constant, let's try that again. It's not that bad if you have a Constitution Crystal. because it basically heals you the whole time that you're fighting them. So. So here's the Dill phase that I was talking about, guys. You want to pop your Constitution Crystal right at the start of this, because these guys are going to hit you like a truck at the start. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's much more truck-like than I thought it was going to be. And you can see, like, right away, these guys, I mean, I just got hit for like 10,000 damage, like, really fast. So you want to try and take your prayer off. I thought I could just power through it with my prayer on, but clearly you can't power through it. You will get dominated if you do that. So take your prayer off, just keep attacking. Now you could probably use your prayer just because you're to the point now. So it's wave 28 is not 27. But now you can use your prayer because you only will have like 2 on you at one time. Just try and use your threshold as soon as possible. You got to keep attacking these guys. You used to have your pickaxe that you'd pull out to attack them, but now it'll automatically use your pickaxe ability or your pickaxe damage when you just attack them normally. So well done, 20 million XP. 20 million XP for magic? Is that what that was? 20 million magic XP this Kiln trip. That's kind of cool. I got that as I was doing a guide. This is not what you want to do, by the way, walking out in the middle like this. You want to try and stay to the corners, but whatever. I'm just doing it because it doesn't really matter anymore. This is going to be pretty easy for me. So now you wait over here, wait for Jad to spawn, he'll be down in his corner again. Boom, he's using magic, and now we can kill him. So this will be, the first 3 waves are, I think the first one's going to be a bunch of melee guys. So you're going to turn your range prayer on, and just go attack them. Drink up a little bit of my defense potion. Don't really have to do it, but just saves you on resources in the long run. Gets you used to like doing overloads and stuff. When you first get overloads, it's tough to pay attention to make sure that you're always overloaded. You get distracted by doing DPS abilities or killing a boss or trying not to die, and quickly falls by the wayside. So Anticipate 2 is still obviously good here, especially if you have less defense. I have 99 defense. I would recommend doing this with at minimum tier 70 weapons. You can do it with the way I did it with tier 60 / tier 70, but definitely better to use tier 70 weapons only. And in Runescape 3, if you're not on an Iron Man account, it's much more easier to access the tier 70 weapons. So now it'll be wave 33. This is when I pop my first crystal. Makes you temporarily invulnerable. Oh, this is not the right phase. I'm gonna have to save it on the next one here. Hope they don't get KO'd. That's stupid. It's on 34 then. So it's 34, 35, 36, and 37 is rocking. Switcheroni, super easy, didn't even use my invulnerability crystal. Now for the next 2 phases of Jad, you can just use your invulnerability crystal right at the start of the phase. Then you don't have to worry about possibly missing a prayer, having him spawn. Stay on the north side of the island, obviously. So here's my next crystal I just used. Switch back to magic here. Make sure your prayer stays up so that doesn't run out. I'm praying range already, so that ability doesn't matter that he just used. Now he's using range attack again, and he's dead. Kill this guy quick. Switch back to magic, kill this guy quick. And then this last one will be wave 36 is going to be the double Jad phase. So here it comes, get ready, and we're gonna go ahead and pop our invulnerability crystal, and here we go. It's good to practice changing your prayers, even if you have an invulnerability crystal going. So I will always switch, even if it's running, because you never know. Maybe there's that one time that it glitches, then you've spent all this time in here. That counts for nothing. So I should get the magic cape this time though. I've done a lot of magic damage. There's 3 different capes that you can get depending on how much damage you do of each style. You want the most damage to be done in the cape that you want. So let's say I want the Mage Kiln cape. I have to do mostly magic damage in Kiln to get that Mage Kiln cape. Only thing you really have to remember. Other than that, now that you're in the last phase, it's good to use your Constitution crystals here. Just leave your prayers off except for your damage prayer. Everything else you can pretty much just fly through here. I have my Nihil, I have my runic accuracy going, I have everything going, so I should hit very, very well against Hurakan in here. Just keep DPSing these down. They do damage too, so the more you can keep them DPS'd and not attacking you, the less damage you'll end up taking in this last phase as well. Just waiting for Hurakan to come out. All you do is that, now you wait for his head to come out and start killing him, basically. Ah, 32 minutes 51 seconds to finish. Can't complain. Should get my Mage Kiln cape right now, and that is the end of Kiln. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, it's been a great guide. Grab my little Mage cape. Yeah. Of course, I'll accept that. Thank you. And boom. There it is. Now I have a placeholder for that. You guys all have a great night, great day, and I will see you guys in the next guide. Peace. From the fire, so that's definitely a good thing to try and practice doing. The more you can avoid the fire, the more damage you're going to avoid as the fight goes on.